I've posted here about my awful neighbors before, and I'm happy to report they've finally been evicted. They live in the unit above me, and it's been a nightmare the entire time. They throw rotten garbage out their window onto the shared lawn, leave cigarette butts and cans all over, and the noise. Stomping up and down the stairs and throwing things so hard my walls shake. Blasting music at all hours. Parties on random weeknights. A lead-footed toddler sprinting around the apartment literally all day. And most recently having loud, nearly violent, multi-hour screaming matches outside 2 feet from my living room window. I was recently woken up at 3 a.m. by one neighbor locking the other one out, and the one that got locked out retaliating by pounding on the door all night and flashing a light into all the windows, including mine. I was about to call the police when he finally went back inside. The police have been called on this family on at least one occasion, not by me. Mercifully, my landlord finally sided with me, and these guys have until the end of the month to get out. I'm so relieved I could cry. It's gotten so stressful living here that I was considering moving even though I can't afford it. I'm counting down the days until the end of March and they're out for good. These guys sound horrible. Welcome back to Metal Straws. In today's video, we're doing posts from r/NeighborsFromHeck. Let's dive right in. Cats everywhere. When we moved into our new home, I didn't realize we had more neighbors than the eye could see. It wasn't until later we realized we had a huge problem on our hands. Cats everywhere. The woman who owned our house had about 40 cats, and when she passed away, they released them outside. Now my wife and I are stuck with about 10 feral cats and a neighbor that feeds them and doesn't agree that they're a nuisance. Over the past year, they've caused a lot of destruction around the foundation of my house. They've used a bathroom on our beautifully redone front porch and furniture. They lay on our patio table where we eat. They torment and hiss at our dog, and they use the bathroom in our yard, which is a health hazard for our dog who loves to chomp on the grass and sticks sometimes. I've spent $150 now cat-proofing our property. I've tried every home remedy repellent with no luck. You're gonna have to catch them and get them to a shelter. Our local animal control doesn't take in strays. Oh my! They just trap the animals, neuter or spay them, and then return them. Oh my goodness, which does nothing for the property damage they're causing. This summer, we'd like to build a gravel fire pit area, but I'm sure it will become a giant litter box unless we take action. While it's a last resort to curtail the chaos, the only option I see moving forward is to trap and move them elsewhere. I feel guilty doing that. It's not their fault they live here, but they're damaging our house and preventing us from enjoying our outdoor spaces. Plus, although our neighbor has no care about this particular situation, he's still just a lonely old man who's kind to us, and I don't want to hurt his feelings. Has anyone dealt with this and have advice before I do that? Wow, I can't believe the animal control won't actually get in front of this and solve this problem. I feel like I'm being tortured by my neighbor's wind chimes. They just installed a 4th wind chime. This new one is unlike the others. It's enormous, and the chimes are more like a constant melody of loud rings that reverberate through my body. They are more like vibrations than clanging. The others are clanging type ones that I easily tune out, but this new one literally sounds like someone is playing the same 3 long notes on an electric piano through an amplifier with incessant echoes that persist. Ding, ding, dong. Every time I just doze off to sleep, it dongs again, jolting me awake. I literally get no sleep on windy days. Because of the wavelength and the fact it's more like a deep vibration, White Noise Machine doesn't tune it out. We have had interactions with these neighbors in the past, but they've been negative, so I'm hesitant to speak with them about it. I'm hoping our HOA can mediate. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm going insane. It's successfully a torture device, and I don't know how much longer I can bear it. It really is too bad this person can't tell his neighbors, "Your wind chimes are driving me crazy." My goal get him evicted. I got a new neighbor at the end of October. I was on vacation and my sister was dog/house sitting for me. She texted me to tell me that the neighbor was extremely loud. I thought maybe it was just her. I got home from vacation about a week later and haven't had a decent night's sleep since then, unless I crash at my BF's house. I've lived here over 7 years and I've had 6 different upstairs neighbors in that time. I've never made a noise complaint before. My new neighbor slams his door constantly. He stomps around the house. He plays fetch with his 70-pound dog in the house at 11:30 at night. He has loud phone conversations after midnight right above my bedroom, in his bedroom. I've been recording the noise for months now. The landlord has heard some of the recordings. She sent him a notice about a month ago and the noise continued. After he woke me in the middle of the night 3 more times, she sent another notice stating he'd start receiving fines if he disturbed quiet hours again, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. He was angry when he got the letter, and he called her to say that he can hear me too. Obviously, he can hear me during the day sometimes, but he's claiming he can hear me teaching every day, word for word. Only problem with that is we're back in the building. He's not hearing me teach. I'm gone from 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. She told him that quiet hours are what's important. She emailed me to let me know he doesn't think he's that loud and asked me to record future instances. Guess who woke me up at 4 a.m. today? Slammed the door on the way in, stomped through the house, allowed his dog to run the length of the house several times, stomped back down the stairs to take the dog out, slammed the door again, and stomped back up. Guess who got the whole thing on video? I emailed the landlord and told her I'd drop off a flash drive with the recording this afternoon. I'm over this jerk. Small update. I spoke with the landlord yesterday. She agreed the noise was ridiculous and told me his attitude at the last contact was that it's an apartment and I need to deal with it because he's not loud. She's going to edit the videos a bit. I kind of say a few bad words because I'm frustrated and exhausted, and invite him to listen to them. Last night at midnight, I was treated to about 3 minutes of loud conversation. When there was a lull, I yelled at the ceiling, "Go talk in the living room!" There was dead silence. Maybe he gets it. Maybe he thinks I'm a jerk. I don't really care. I just want to sleep. My neighbor just piled cement under my brand new fence. Okay, I checked the survey to be safe and the fence is 100% on our property. My neighbor thinks the fence is on her property, but has no proof except she once planted a tree on this property, I guess illegally? So we spent $2,100 on a new fence yesterday because the old one was literally falling down. I stupidly thought they'd be happy they got a free new fence. Nope. They came over and complained it didn't have some 4th board and said it would fall down in 10 years. Yeah, that sounds like a neighbor. No biggie, we will build a new one if it does. So what? Neighbors do that. They come and advise you on how what you've done isn't gonna last. Today, I wake up to see she is cramming cement under the fence. I'm glad we caught it early because she would have trapped some cement blocks and a tarp there. I was going to put dirt under the gaps this week, but nope. Now it's big chunks of cement. So there's a bit of a language barrier. So we asked the woman working on the cement to come to the front and chat. Her daughter came and translated, and I felt so bad putting this sweet girl in this position, but we needed to clear things up. Our neighbor said that she did it because cats get in her yard, and the fence would fall down without more support. We told her cats jump over fences, and if it falls down, we'll just build a new one. She started yelling at her daughter, and all I heard back was, okay, they will be more careful. It's a well-built fence, and I was really pleased with how straight it was, even though our yard is really uneven. The cats aren't even ours, they are strays in the neighborhood. This particular neighbor once told me leaves cause mosquitoes. She also said the California fires were coming to burn down our houses, so she had to cut down any tree or bush on her land. We live in Texas, and she put cinder blocks in the corners of her house so it wouldn't blow away with a strong wind. She's also built 3 cinder block pyramids in her yard and one at the edge of our property for some insane unknown reason. I'd ask her about that. We are now looking into lawyers. Oh, that's too bad, because she's done other crazy things too, and we're tired of it. Now she's in the backyard yelling at her husband about the situation. Ugh. After reading just a few of these, I would just think if you've got a good neighbor, just be so grateful for them. This family moved in about a year ago. Only about 3 kids live there, but the entire neighborhood gang hangs out with these kids. I live in an apartment for context. There is a concrete low wall that wraps around the carport, and these kids sit on that wall, placing their feet on the side of my car. I live in the desert and it gets windy, so the car gets dusty so I can see stuff on the car. I go out there and there are kid shoe prints that are all over the hood. That's not funny, but it's just sad. Their shoe prints are all over the hood, roof, and trunk of my car. They've drawn things on the windshield in the dust, and they've also spilled some liquid on the side window and door that still has a stain that hasn't come off after several washes. They also play football and basketball in this carport, hitting cars with the balls. They even bring the games to the entryway, and they've run into my window several times. Someone else has already complained about them because a notice was taped to all of our doors about how playing in the carport isn't allowed. Their illegal parking is not allowed and other rules they are breaking. I don't know what to do at this point since I can't afford to move. I'm scared that complaining to the manager will make me look like an annoying Karen, but this is harassment and property damage, and I've had enough. Yeah, having people draw things in your windshield dust all the time is really rude, and then spilling something on your car, I definitely think you should go on record and complain about this, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it. I thought my neighbor was wrathful in regards to my vandalizing my own property, which they can only see by peering in between the plants that line their fence on the side of their house where they park their cars, 50 meters from my artwork. But in fact, it was not that, because they continued to harass me even after the writing was rubbed off the wall. I learned from sundry conversations with the police officers that the neighbor has made contact with the police in regards to my calls to the police in regards to their attacks. Oh my. First of all, they seem to want me to condone eavesdropping. First, my writing was just a small blah, font size 72, in the wall furthest from their house, and it only multiplied into blank 3 feet high everywhere when I heard their teenage son trying to eavesdrop on a conversation between myself and parents. I learned from sundry conversations with the police officers that they seem to think that I deserve these attacks because I'm 33 and still live with my parents. Do you know where they got this age from? It's because I said it overly dramatically in a shouting voice because I knew they put a tap on my phone, my neighbors. The average blank SAT score is 1100. The average blank SAT score is 1222, which is pretty remarkable considering that English isn't even the first language spoken in most households. So I wouldn't even go to your average blank person as arbiters of the truth, since they aren't even masters of the tests that they themselves designed. Wow. And at this point, it's hard to justify my neighbor's actions with just myself alone. Moreover, it seems that my neighbors from all sides have gone stir crazy from staying at home every day since last March. The reason they can make all of these attacks is because at my house the people are gone during the day, working. Well, I have been flitting in and out of hotel rooms for the past 3 weeks due to the continued harassment from my neighbor. And now I can say that I am firmly an American spending money that I do not have in order to keep up appearances. Back at home, I had a zero net debt because I cleaned that 6,500 square foot home, as well as washed the dishes and slept on the floor because I calculated that if I slept on my bed in my room, my mom would probably calculate that I owe her $200,000 for the portion of the house that my room takes up. Plus, I did side gigs. Also, I had a 100% merit scholarship-based degree, plus more money on top of that for living expenses, so my parents didn't pay anything for education. As to why I'm still living at home, I'm going to let that fact trigger you for a while. And that post ends right there, so that's going to get us to the end of r/NeighborsFromHeck. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.